obviously the last fight, we kind of have to talk about it. You obviously fought Ohara Davies in the final of the Golden Contract tournament. You
Mhm.
know, have you? I read that you actually haven't watched the fight back yet. Is that right?
No, I haven't watched it. I've tried to about 3 or 4 times, and it just frustrates me big time watching. So I just end up turning off like round 2 or 3, and
So, thinking back to the fight, obviously you haven't watched it properly, but I'm sure you've reflected on it. So,
yeah,
thinking back to it and how it went and how you felt in there, and just reflecting back on it, with obviously with a few months gone
yeah.
by, how do you actually feel it went? Like, I know you felt that you won the fight at the time. Do you still feel the
Mm.
same, or
Well, obviously, I still feel the same. I haven't watched it back, so I
okay?
couldn't give you insight. But you know what? It just frustrates me that a box of instructions. The instructions were perfect. Pete came up with a game plan. I executed it, and I just thought getting beaten that kind of fashion, that you you stuck to the game plan for the first time in your career probably, and
Yeah.
for the judges to penalize you on it, it just really was annoying, because I know for a fact if I had went for a war, I'd have probably beat him. But what's the point in going for a war and maybe getting clipped? He is a big puncher.
Yeah, he is.
Uh,
Yeah.
what's the point in trying to go for that when the game plan that Pete put out was perfect? So it's frustrating that if I knew that the judges were going to penalize me for boxing on the back foot, and actually doing what you're supposed to do in the sport, which is box, uh, instead of having a slugfest, uh, slugfest. Maybe we would have got into the slugfest, and I probably would have beaten that way, but we'll never
Okay.
know now, will we?
So on reflection, obviously you haven't watched the fight, but just thinking back to it and thinking about how it went and how you still feel it went, do you feel like you did carry out the game plan correctly, and you feel like you landed enough shots
Yeah,
to win the
I
rounds?
feel
Like,
like, yeah, I feel like I wouldn't, if I had went back in time, I wouldn't have done a different game plan. I'd have done the same thing because I thought I was winning.
okay,
Um, I mean, the thing is, that annoys me is just that I could have done a different. I could have went forward and probably won, but why would I if I thought I was winning the fight? So
yeah, I get you. Yeah, well, of course, if that's and obviously your corner was telling you that you like
yeah,
Pete was fairly confident that you were winning the fight in his
yeah,
book. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'd say if it was in Belfast, that's the thing about being an away fighter. If it was in Belfast, I said I would have won that 8-2 or 7-3 easy. But
Okay.
being an away fighter against an English fighter, English judges, English referee, it's hard to get
Yeah,
the decision.
I get you. Yeah, sometimes maybe it can go against you. Um, did you think that the fact that there was no crowd affected you? I know when we spoke before, you had said that it might actually work in your advantage because it would allow you to stick to a game plan and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But
well, what I said, that it did happen. Like, I did stick to the game plan
yeah,
because
you
there was
did.
no crowd. But now I think if there was a crowd, I wouldn't have stuck to the game plan. I don't know what the fuck more. But
Yeah,
I just, to be honest, I hate fighting with no, like, I didn't think I would hate it as much. I hate fighting with no crowd.
yeah,
It's even the week, the lead up to the fight, like the press days and the public workouts and all that stuff. Just there's no like atmosphere
yeah,
during the week. Like, normally you get people wanting photos and autographs and big press days and stuff, and it's exciting.
yeah,
This, you're just sitting in a hotel room, literally not seeing anyone, and it takes away from the I don't know, the event, and I just don't want to fight in front of no crowd again. I love crowds. I just love
I,
it. I love entertaining people, and
yeah,
when people are there to entertain, it's kind of deflating.
yeah. You're a crowd pleaser. Like that's what you are, aren't you? In every sense of the
I
word, pretty much inside the ring and outside the ring. So I can see why it would definitely affect you. Was it kind of like that? Like, you're just to touch on what you said. Is it kind of like there wasn't, that atmosphere, that kind of pre-fight atmosphere? There wasn't like, no, there was no hype, and maybe inside yourself, you didn't really feel as excited, or
Yeah, I just didn't feel like, it felt like a fake fight as well. Like, it didn't feel like a real, like, there was a lot of riding on that fight, and it just didn't feel like there was when I was fighting. Like it was
Yeah,
just,
I get you. Like it didn't
I think
count almost.
there's more atmosphere in my sparring sessions than there was in that fight. To me, like, because there only was my corner and his corner really there. At least in sparring sessions, you have your whole gym sitting watching you.
Yeah,
Well, so it's just a weird. Like we'll have to do the best we can during the pandemic and during COVID. Like it has to be no. That's the way it has to be. No crowd, which is
exactly.
unfortunate, but it does. It isn't as good as obviously having a crowd there going mental.
Yeah, definitely not. Of course, I think yeah, it would have. I think it would have been a better, probably a better fight if there was a crowd, because also
Yeah.
you probably would have been swayed a little bit by the crowd to engage a little bit more, and obviously that just naturally becomes a more fan friendly fight. But you've said in the aftermath that you're never gonna box like that again. You've said,
No.
fuck that.
Yeah.
It's war from now on, because one, to do with the decision, I think, and two, you want to please the fans, and that obviously that kind of boxing on the outside, using your range and using your height, is not necessarily the most fan friendly
Yeah.
style. So is that still the plan going forward?
Always said 100%. Already sat down and spoke to Pete about it. Pete agrees. Not that I'm just going to go and have a slugfest,
Yeah.
but I'm just not going to be moving on the back foot loads. I'm going to take a center of the ring, going to take control of the fight, and
Yeah.
it will be a more entertaining fight, as you say, and it's a more entertaining state. I love entertaining, and it's an entertaining business.
It's
And
the entertainment business for sure. I think
so
there's a lot to be said for being fan friendly, for people wanting to watch you fight. Because you can.
I've always had everyone always wants to go watch me fight because I get in wars and I'm exciting. And I don't need to get in wars, and it proves I don't need to get in wars from the last fight. But also after that fight, not that much. Like people were like, "Oh, that was an unreal fight," which I wish it would have been for. But
Yeah.
I backed the instruction to back away. In that competition, all I wanted to do was win that competition. So
Yeah.
I didn't care. Once in my life, I didn't care about bored the public or I stuck to game plan and stuff like that. And but from now on, it's entertainment back. Back
Definitely.
to the top of the man.
Definitely, 100%. And I know you said like that you didn't really. You said you obviously think you won the fight. You still believe that you won the fight. You believe you carried out the game plan correctly. But I'm wondering, obviously you didn't get it on the night. So do you look back at the fight and think, okay, do you know what? I could have done that better, or I could have, I could have executed a little bit better here, or is there anything that you learned from the fight that you think, okay, I'm going to work on that, or I need to be better in those areas?
I fought a box. I fought a box well. You didn't get hit much, and one thing about Ohara Davies is he's very awkward to land on. Like the way he stands, the way he presents himself, it's hard to get your shots off on him.
Yeah.
So
It
I
seemed like
think
that in the fight. Yeah.
when I do say that the boxing didn't work, it maybe just didn't work against him because of the way he stands and the way he fights and the way he doesn't want to engage and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but don't know if I learned much. I just learned that I hate fighting with no crowd, really.
Well, that actually still counts, to be fair. Obviously not as much in terms of technical boxing skill, or that kind of thing, but it's something that interests me. Like, I like the technical stuff, and the the little minor details of improving this, improving that, little things like that. So I just wanted to see if there was anything that you thought, you know what, I could have been a bit cleaner there, it could have been, maybe the feet could have been a bit better, or whatever, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's interesting.